What's up internet, my name is Nikki and today I will be doing my March fatal attractions. So if you don't already know what my fatal attractions are, they're just basically obsessions I've had in the month of March. They're not really my favorites, they're just things that I got really into it and then I kind of just dropped them after a couple days, and that's mainly what it is. So let's get into it, starting off with TV shows. And the first TV show that I ended up watching, and it seems like the rest of the world too has been watching, is Riverdale. So the main reason I ended up watching Riverdale wasn't because of who was in it, but mainly because of what's it about. The story is about the Archie comics, which kind of blew my mind because I used to read the Archie comics when I was younger. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, my mom would get like the Sunday paper, and it was like a bulky, big, huge thing, and she would end up giving me the comic section, and I would sit with her at the table in the morning and I will be reading it. And the first thing I always went to was the Archie comics, which was usually Archie and Jughead, and then below that was Betty and Veronica, and usually it was something about friendship or whatever, and I really liked those two. Growing up I didn't really realize the two were kind of the same thing, but yeah, so that kind of got me hooked, so I ended up watching the first episode, and the first thing that I thought of was I really like the narrator who's doing this because I like his voice. And then I realized it was Jughead, and then I realized it was Cole Sprouse, and I'm like, holy crap, both of my childhood things are combining together. My kid self was excited for two reasons, and that was something I used to love reading, plus something I used to love watching, which was Cole Sprouse and his brother Dylan Sprouse, I can't remember, from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and also from that Adam Sandler movie, I think it's Big Daddy, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, and I was like, yes. Moving on to anime. So I don't know how I missed this, but the second season of Bungou Stray Dogs ended up coming out last year, and I completely missed it. Like, it blew my mind and I didn't even register that it came out. So I ended up binge watching the first and second season. I do admit I kind of got annoyed when I started watching the second season because the first 3 episodes were like prequels to like the first season of Bungou Stray Dogs, and I'm like, why the hell did I end up rewatching the first season? But yeah, it was just setting up for the second season anyway, so I was like, ow, I should have just waited instead of getting annoyed. But yeah, I ended up watching that. Something else that occurred to me that I thought was really funny is that I didn't register this until now. I might be like blowing other people's minds too if you guys are watching the series, is that all the characters, like the people who have abilities, are named after authors. Yeah, authors, and their abilities are named after like one of their most popular books. And I didn't register this until I rewatched season 1 and we get introduced to Francis F, and his ability was the Great Gatsby, and I started laughing because I'm like, oh, it's a play on kind of thing for F. Scott Fitzgerald. And no, it wasn't, because then we get introduced to a lady who has the Gone with the Wind ability and then the Scarlet Letter, and then I realized all of them were named after the author who wrote them, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pause here, and I googled all of the characters and they are all named after author. Well, anyways, all the people who have like abilities are named after really well-known authors. And I didn't register this until we kind of got into like the American people, because obviously I don't know that many Japanese authors because I don't read Japanese. So yeah, so it kind of just blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I did not know that. So moving on to movies, I finally ended up watching Finding Dory, and I saw this with my sister, and we both died when we saw Dory because the first scene you see is Dory and she has these big eyes and she's so cute. I do admit I cried in this movie. It was really good. I've seen it about 3 times already, and I might actually end up seeing it a 4th time. I'm watching it with my nieces, so yeah. The next movie I ended up watching was The Dressmaker. This movie is from a book, which I didn't know, and I kind of want to read it now just to know a little bit more of what's going on. But anyways, this movie is set in Australia, and the whole story revolves around a woman, I think in the 1930s, 40s, I'm not quite sure. It's just really old-fashioned-y, and this lady ends up coming home and she kind of wants to remember something, because her whole entire life she's been told that she's done something and she doesn't really remember what she's done. So she comes back because she figures if she finds out what happened, she might be able to undo the curse that's been following her around. Whatever this bad thing started with, she might be able to undo the curse or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a really good movie. The story is really good, and there's a scene with Liam Hemsworth, which for that guy, he's okay, but for some reason in this movie he made me really flustered. I don't know how else to explain it. I just know I got hot and bothered watching him do a certain scene, and they weren't even doing anything. She was just measuring him so he could have like a suit for a wedding, and that was it. And I don't know, it was just really hot. So next, moving on to games. I recently just realized I could play my Sims 4 game on my MacBook, and I don't want to say I was addicted. I was addicted for 2 days. And the only reason I was addicted for 2 days is because I created my Sims, I learned how to replay Sims again, and I forgot how exhausting it was to play Sims, because you're literally taking care of them like they're your child. And my Sim ended up catching fire 3 times, ended up aging twice without me ever saying yes to it, and she ended up dying. So I kind of just gave up, but it was fun while she lasted. Her name was Jane. I didn't really much do anything besides choose like her job and personality, and it was just randomized, and she died on me. She started off as a young adult, and in 2 days she died. I should have seen it coming, considering that she caught on fire 3 times. I'm not joking. She was a level 8 cook and she got caught on fire 3 times. 3 times. You have no idea how much that stressed me out. I'm assuming that's why she aged so rapidly, is because when she was a young adult she caught on fire, and then when she was like an adult she caught on fire, and then when she was an old lady she caught on fire. So the next game I really got into was Night in the Woods. I ended up watching the gameplay on Jacksepticeye's channel, and I really did enjoy it. I liked how he did the voices and everything. I really enjoyed the soundtrack to this, and that's like the main thing that kind of reeled me in for this, and the artwork for it, because it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So I don't really know how to explain what the game is about. I just know we meet May. She comes back home because she doesn't really fit in college or something, and it talks about a lot about friendship and like mental health stuff, and just it's okay not to be happy all the time. And yeah, I don't know, you have to see it to understand it, I guess. I myself still don't understand, so if you understand what happened in the game, tell me. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to music. So obviously Night in the Woods soundtrack, I was listening to that, but also I was listening to Panic! At the Disco's album Death of Bachelor. And the main reason I ended up listening to this album over and over and over again was because my sister ended up buying tickets for us to go see Panic! At the Disco live in concert. And I have to say, oh my god, like my teen self, my tween self was happy. Like, I don't know how to tell you guys, but like I was satisfied. Like, I don't know what in me started weeping. I enjoyed it massively. It brought back a lot of memories, because listening to those songs, I kind of remember where I was, what I was kind of doing, and I'm like, moving on to clothing. Obviously, if you go to a concert, you have to buy merchandise. And the 2 things that I have been obsessed with, like I have been wearing non-stop around my house, is a sweater and sweatpants. And I have been living in these since I bought them. No joke. My sister ended up putting on the sweatpants when we were at the concert because she said she was cold, so I thought it was funny. So the sweatpants have Panic! At the Disco right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then on one of the side legs, it has like, I guess, the logo. And so it has like little tiny logos for some of the songs from Death of Bachelor, which I really do like. And obviously, and my prize in joy for the past month is this sweater that says Panic at the Disco, Death of the Bachelor, and I highly enjoy it. It is the most warmest and softest thing ever. And I'm like, oh. But yes, I've been wearing these two things non-stop since I got them at the concert. The last food item and last obsession I've had in the month of March is root beer floats. So in the beginning of this month, my sister ended up getting like this weird craving for root beer floats, and she didn't want to be the only one drinking them, so she ended up making me some. And if you haven't ever had a root beer float, I do admit it has a unique taste to it, because you have to be in the mood for them and also have some like root beer. But my theory for this is to put more vanilla ice cream than you do root beer, because it tends to taste a little more vanilla soda than it does the root beer. That's kind of my thing if you're not really into root beer. More ice cream and a little bit less soda. So yeah, that's all of my fatal attractions. I wanted to put one more segment in that it's mostly for me to remember this. Since it was spring, I decided to plant one of little gifts I got. I got like this little tiny plant your own flowers or whatever as a stocking stuffer, and I ended up planting it since obviously it was spring, and I wanted to see if I could grow it, and it has sprouted. I'm really excited for myself because I have never been able to grow anything. I've been able to keep things alive because I've had dogs obviously, and also fish. I always thought I never had the green thumb because everybody in my family knows how to plant stuff, and I'm the only one that kills basically everything. And I think that's mainly because I either overwater it or don't water it enough. But I ended up planting a carpet of snow, and it's finally sprouted, and I'm like, yay, I actually did it. So I'm excited. So I'm gonna do a little update of my progress if you guys wanted to see that. So yeah, that is it for my March fatal attractions and also my flower update. I guess that's what I'm gonna call it. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. If not, that's cool. I usually try to upload Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays. So yeah, I catch you later. Whoop.